You remember they're changing my voice and they're causing my ears to ring. And as my ears ring, everyone who is on duty right now, I'm sure we can all agree it's fair. Their punishment's increased. Their offspring punishment, their family members who can easily be blamed for how they came out, who are in the afterlife, etc. Their eternal punishment increases. Okay. So this video is about why a shorter life of being righteous and persecuted is greater to a long life of being a conformist with money. Before I talk about this, let's look at this thing and ask ourselves, why do all these rich people insist on ordering people to persecute me? The governing class obviously is ordering this persecution. Okay? Name one white, Jewish, or LGBT person who is profoundly respected by the world. Maybe Donald Trump or Joe Biden, okay? Some person on the news. It simply doesn't exist. It does not exist. And I would venture to say it has never existed. There's never been someone like that, not even Abraham Lincoln. If you really look at what he did, it's like, what he did was like tying your shoes. Okay? He was a white person with a lot of privilege to the point where he became president. There was a lot of people who wanted slaves to be freed. It wasn't exactly the bravest act in human history. It was just a basic, decent thing to do. So there's a lot of people like that. You look at Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, very mediocre, very meek and foolish people. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I want you to understand that there's no reason to persecute me. And this is what happens when you follow the white man's ways, right? The Western system. No offense to white people, but I'm sure we can all agree that it should be said in any way that I can say it that is easily communicated, especially when they're fuming me and persecute me. So what happens when you're a rich person, you're part of a group that's far too stupid to not persecute the most righteous person ever. That is fucking dumb. You have intelligence agencies. Ironically, they're called intelligence agencies, being led by complete idiots who didn't learn the most obvious lesson from the greatest story ever told, which is why not to persecute Jesus. How much more for no reason when it's easy to keep him out of mainstream media? It's easy to maintain the continuity of your government. Think about all the government groups, corporate groups, social clubs, okay, political groups, etc., that uphold the system. It is a walk in the park with their military and their massive network to maintain the government. They control the media, and it doesn't matter if I really got famous on YouTube. They could always change the algorithms and all kinds of stuff they can do to minimize how many viewers I have. That's part of how they're suppressing my videos to some degree at this point. Pretty straightforward. So why on earth are they so fucking dumb that they hate their children more than anyone has hated their children and their families in human history? For those of you who don't understand that argument, think about two tribes at war. If one tribe ordered, and obviously my tribe, I don't have a tribe, I'm biracial, the Igbos aren't helping me here, but if this was two tribes, to help you understand, and one tribe ordered the murder of their king, who was the most righteous person of any tribe that ever lived, when the other tribe got to their village, would they not massacre them all with an emphasis on those who gave the order? They say, you're the kids of the guy who gave the order? We'll grab them up and flog them to death. Would that not occur? How much more God Almighty, in his infinite wisdom and might and desire for vengeance? God didn't say that vengeance is an illogical principle in the Bible. God said, vengeance is mine, and I and the Father are one. Vengeance is also mine. It is dumb to go after the avenger. Can you imagine? And again, it's also the cliff. These people, conformity at its highest level is governance at this time. Well, really at any time, but certainly at this time. Who's more of a conformist than the governing class? They insist on what people conform to. They are the essence of conformity. And what they're doing is far worse than if they went around throwing their kids off a different cliff every day, and say, well, they don't know how steep it is. From their agnostic-ish point of view, what they're doing is fucking retarded. It's an unnecessary risk that affects their entire family, all of them, whoever were, who are, and ever will be. So think about that. That's what conformity and money leads to, that nonsense. It leads to persecuting the most righteous guy ever. Those of you who are saying, well, I don't accept that argument. Well, let me put it in a way that you social norm fanatics, you of little brain power can understand. They say money is the root of all evil. Okay? Is it smart to be evil? Is it smart to be Jeffrey Dahmer or the Night Stalker or Hitler? Right? Stupid. For more than one reason. Okay? And when we think about a gold digger, when we think of gold digger, do you think of the smartest person that ever lived? You think of the best life ever? Sucking some old guy off, you know what I'm saying, for a new purse, for a drive a nice BMW? Okay, you know, why stop there? Why not suck them off for just a common Barbie doll? Because everyone and their mom has a nice car these days. That's neither here nor there. There's 22.5 millionaires and billionaires in America alone. Okay, it's fucking retarded to fucking sell your soul for those things. And time again, we see the studies reflect that money isn't everything, and that people who have less money often are more happy than people with more money. It is fucking retarded to miss the obvious fact that a shorter life of being righteous and persecuted is greater to a long life of being a conformist with money. Okay? So, again, to reflect on this video, the first point I made was there's no reason to persecute me. Okay? And they're persecuting me anyway. They, you know, it's like you ever seen Spaceballs? It's like a parody. Their lives are like parodies. Their celebrities are mocking the idea of being a celebrity. They're all a joke. The way they sing, the way they look, the way they act, their micro expressions, that exact kind of witch look that's so common these days, that exact gay look that's so common these days. And I'm not necessarily saying all gay people are undesirable. I'm not necessarily saying that in this video. In this video, I'm pointing to the exact gay look that we see that's so common in the news. Okay? It's so common in society in general. It is a sick joke. And for those of you who don't think that I should be able to say this, when I was younger, was there not a bunch of old people say, hey, kids these days, right? This younger generation. And it carried on into their 20s. When I was 20, when I just finished college, I wouldn't do that myself. I did X, Y, and Z. I worked hard and whatever they used to say. So now magically I'm not allowed to approve of the cultures that have come after my culture. You know, after the culture of my time. It's retarded. And so the people in charge must be seen as on the spectrum of retardation. If you were going to, you know, give your kid all your money because you're rich, right? Instead of giving it to humanity that you ripped off, you're going to give it to your kids instead. Why on earth would you set them up to go to hell and have made it personal with the most righteous person that ever lived, right? Does that make sense to you? That's a retard's mistake. Why would you lead the world in the way that they're doing these days and cause 9 million people to starve to death and die of hunger-related issues for no reason when you could simply get people's tubes tied if you wanted to reduce the population? Just simply raise taxes on the wealthy, you know, $100 a year per millionaire or something. And then get countless people's tubes tied. And over time, you might even, you know, cause less people to be born than you otherwise would have. But instead, they're starving people to death. That's on the spectrum of retarded, right? That's retarded. So the governing class is fucking retarded. When a gold digger is a gold digger, she's like, hey, I want money, and I'm going to go to the retards who are murdering and raping and causing the murder and rape of so many people, and drugging, exploitation, and violence, and all kinds of horrible things that they're doing. All these homeless people everywhere. Okay, just for bootlicking money, when in time and time again we see studies in the news that money doesn't bring happiness. That's a dumb fucking gold-digging bitch. It's a fate worse than death to be that stupid. To sleep with the lowest forms of life they ever were in the information age when they should have known way better is a dumb slut, witch, fucking dumb bitch mistake to make. I have no respect for them whatsoever. Now, who do we respect in popular culture? See, Jesus Christ and John the Baptist, a shorter life of righteousness. Stephen the martyr. Almost all the 12 disciples in popular culture. We see movies, and obviously they're based on bad guys who they're glorified, but the idea of dying in a way that seems glorious is sold as an idea that's respectable. We see, you know, the movie 300, right? King Leonidas, right? Bruce Lee and Chinese Connection. Okay, Shaka Zulu. Okay, Braveheart, called Braveheart. We don't respect the rich Prince Humperdinck bitch. We don't respect Prince John or Prince Richard. Let's give King John or King Richard in Robin Hood. Because we know King Richard is just a white privileged buffoon, and Prince John is obviously a bad guy. Okay, what life is actually worth living is more like someone who dies for moral precision. That is the life worth living. The other lives are a waste of life. For those of you into occult wordplay who need it spelled out for you, the word waste is a play on words for way set. Now, Horus is a martial art hero, god of martial arts, god of justice, the Avenger, the Skywalker, the Golden Horse, what have you. The god of love, when we really think about it, and dedication to the principles of good. And Set was a deity of rape, principles of evil, which obviously include rape, murder, drugging, you name it. Had a magic wand at some point, right? When followers of Horus were martial art warrior kings in their original form. Set, reduced himself to being a disgraced magician, a Harry Potter, Merlin, some kind of Houdini sissy. And obviously he created the con whore, the con man, right? The fake horse, which is another magician. Hi guys, I'm Gandalf the Grey and he's Eric the White and we're playing a magic card game, right? That is a disgraceful, pathetic, never grew up Barbie doll, tea time, sissy life. That's a waste. Again, the word waste is a play on words for way set. Thank you.